Howdy folks, how are you all doing? Another monthly update for the month of March. This time we're already into April. We're without international rugby for a while, so it's kind of that lull time, but in saying that, it's a great time if you're following your local teams, be it Super Rugby down here in New Zealand, Australia and the Pacific. South Africa with the URC, you guys are getting into the business end of the season alongside your Welsh, Irish, Scottish and Italian counterparts. The Premiership likewise in the UK. The top 14 plus there's European rugby on. There's a ton of rugby on at the moment. The States have got the MLR on. I haven't actually been following anything in Japan at the moment, but that season must be kind of getting to the tail end as well. We do have some new rugby jerseys, which we will crack open in just a second. Some stats and some thanks for the month that was in March, plus a little bit about Ronan O'Gara, Wayne Smith and Eddie Jones, because they've all been in the news in the last few days. We will start with the rugby jerseys. The first one was sent to me by Trevor, who for the second time has picked me up a rugby jersey, which I don't have, on his travels while he was in France. He stopped by the stadium in Lyon and picked up this bad boy. So happy days. Yeah, I do not have a Lyon jersey. Top 14 still has a couple of teams I don't have, but no longer Lyon. So that's pretty sweet. It's a Macron one. I can feel already that's a really thin kind of fabric, so it's not going to be one that gets real hot. I think their away version might be white, so I'm kind of pleased I've got the red and black one, because knowing myself, I'll spill stuff on them. So yeah, white ones tend to be a bit more prone to that. But there you go. Thank you so much, Trevor, for that, man. That is awesome to go out of your way to the stadium and pick that one up, and also to send it all the way down here to New Zealand. Very much appreciated. Now the second one from Alan came in this, but I've had to open it because each one of the jerseys was in a plastic bag and there's a lot of them. So Alan, man, you are way too generous. Alan is a big MLR fan, so the American League. He has sent me literally every MLR jersey that I own, and he has sent me a few more in this one. Remember, guys, if you are ever looking for your rugby fix, even on like a Wednesday or something, if you've got nothing else to watch on TV, the American games are on the Rugby Network, which is a free site. You just chuck that into Google. You sign up, it doesn't cost you anything. They've got the games live and on demand. You'll see some guys from some past glory guys like Martin Onu's over there, Chris Robshaw's over there, Joe Peterson's over there. You know, there's a bunch of Bjorn Basson, but also all the kind of emerging American talent as well. Paul Lasike's back over there. So yeah, it's certainly a good one to get behind. I try to watch a game or two every week as well. This one of the slickest jerseys you will find is the New England Free Jacks. So that's one. Second one, this is Ma'anonu's team, the San Diego Legion, who are doing remarkably well this season. They are, I think, 5 wins and 3 losses in a pretty decent playoff position. A team with an interesting name named after a cocktail, the Austin Gilgronis, who've gone through a couple of rebrands. I've heard rumors that they might be getting rebranded again, but we will see. Gilgronis. The next one is Rugby New York. It's Andy Ellis, former All Black, his team. They used to be called Rugby United New York, aka Rooney, but now they're just Rugby New York, so they've lost the United part. I've already lost count of how many jerseys we're up to. Rugby ATL, the team from Atlanta. This is a pretty slick one, to be fair. It looks like it's got kind of a snake's scales pattern going on, because the snake is a theme with that team. We're still going. We got Old Glory DC. So a very kind of American-themed jersey, that one. Unfortunately for these guys are winless thus far this season, but they are tracking better as games go by. Utah Warriors, one of the few teams in the MLR which has the advantage of altitude. Usually when we think of altitude in rugby, we're thinking of like Pretoria or Ellis Park, Joburg, something like that. Last one, the new boys from the MLR, the Dallas Jackals. So goodness gracious me, Alan, mate, that is more than generous. That's a ton of rugby jerseys. You should have seen the look on my wife's face when I opened that box. and she was telling me off about making sure I put away all the plastic bags that these things came in. So yeah, man, Alan, you're a legend. Trevor as well, thank you guys so much. You have stocked the channel up with a ton of jerseys, and what can I say, man? I really appreciate that. That's really phenomenal stuff. I'll give these jerseys a try at some point soonish. So yeah, cheers to Alan and to Trevor. Thank you very much, guys. Speaking of some thanks, I should say thank you to guys for always coming along. I try not to hammer people with the old subscribe and like and Patreon, all that kind of stuff, because when I watch YouTube videos, I don't like being hammered with that. But you guys know, in the monthly video, it is the one time I will ask, if you aren't subscribed, please do so. 55% of people not subscribed in March. Main viewers from the UK, Ireland, France, South Africa, and Australia. Six Nations content was still the most popular in March, especially the Ireland and England result. Actually, so yeah, if you are one of the 55% that's not subbed and you're watching this video, do me a favor and subscribe if you don't mind. Otherwise, liking videos, that kind of stuff, all helps. 94.5% male. We are covering the Women's Six Nations this month, so it's April, so those numbers won't appear yet, but hopefully a few people are watching that as well. Main age group 25 to 34, which is about a quarter of the people, but 8.9% over 65, so there you go, it's a good mix. Yeah, what else? I should say also a big thanks to the patrons who support the channel. It's almost been a year since I left my job with redundancy to basically focus on this channel, and the bank hasn't kicked me out of the house yet. So thank you guys for the support, for watching, for subbing, and also to these kind people for financially supporting the channel, be it $1 or be it a wee bit more, especially to Jack and Michael for that. You guys are proper legends as well. But seriously, all these people help me stay afloat, so if you would consider it, I would appreciate it. Head over to patreon.com/2centsrugby and consider helping me out, because yeah, it's the patrons that keep us going, to be honest. So yeah, as always, thank you guys as always for the support. As always, buy me a coffee if you don't want to do like a regular subscription. Buy me coffees down in the subscription, the description as well. Now, stuff that's been going on in the rugby news is Ronan O'Gara almost got slapped in the face the other day. If you didn't know, Ronan O'Gara, former Irish international, former Crusaders assistant coach, is the head coach over with these guys in France, La Rochelle. And it seems like in the top 14, a lot of the coaches like to stand on the sideline, right? Here in Super Rugby, I think in most leagues around the world, they're always up in their little coach's box. But in the top 14, they like to stand on the sideline. So it's got a bit more of that kind of football, soccer feel, where the guys are standing on the sideline shouting instructions at each other. But that sometimes means, like football, you get the coaches kind of getting in each other's faces. Ronan O'Gara was excitedly celebrating a moment in the game against Bordeaux the other day, and the coach of that team didn't seem to take too kindly to it, and had gotten into his face a wee bit. And it seems like, it's not that clear from the footage, maybe he tried to give him a slap, but it seems like the slap, if it was a slap, was not able to meet the mark. So yeah, weird moment. I'm not sure what you guys think of that. It certainly made the news, and I think both guys are maybe up before the disciplinary panel in the top 14. But yeah, it's a weird moment. We don't really see that stuff much in rugby, eh? What do you guys reckon? Does that kind of add a bit of emotion and some newsworthiness to the game, or do you think it's a bit childish and we don't need that kind of stuff in rugby? It was certainly a bizarre one for me. I should also mention, by the way, if you want to do me a favor, there's another channel I run in my spare time called Walk NZ, where I walk around, no talking, just with the camera, and take some footage of what we got going on here in New Zealand. I recently went to Mount Smart Stadium, which is mostly closed up. You can't really get in because it wasn't a match day, but that's where Moana Pacifica, the new team, are based. So I had a wee walk around that stadium. If you want to do me a favor and go subscribe to that channel, bro, I would love it, because we're just under 150 people short of getting to 1,000, and 1,000 was where YouTube goes, okay, you're a real channel now. So I would love to get it to 1,000 if anyone would be so kind as to do me that favour. Second bit of coaching news, apart from one almost getting slapped, is Wayne Smith, former All Blacks assistant coach, Crusaders assistant coach, All Blacks coach. Generally regarded here in New Zealand anyway as one of the greatest rugby brains. Has signed on to be a technical advisor with the Black Ferns. So that's our women's 15s team, who had a pretty terrible 2021. Like, COVID has not done the women's game any favours in terms of the lack of game time. But when the Black Ferns did get to play some games, they got pretty roundly beaten. So leading into the World Cup, which is this year here in New Zealand, Wayne Smith signing on can only be a good thing. There's been some kind of off-field dramas with the Black Ferns as well, and some disputes between the players and the coach. But yeah, certainly having Wayne Smith in that role, I think, drastically increases New Zealand's chances of getting successful results at the World Cup, because he is just one of those guys that wherever he goes, he lifts the team to the next level. Like we saw the impact of him leaving the All Blacks setup in recent years, didn't we? So yeah, very, very pleased for the Black Ferns to have Wayne Smith along, although England are still looking like the team to beat. I've been watching the Women's Six Nations and they've just been destructive, to put it mildly. The last one, Eddie Jones is back in the news in the UK for heading off to Japan to Suntory again. Like, he's got a relationship going on with Suntory. And it seems like after the Six Nations, when he gets a bit of holiday time, and he's done this before, he heads over to Japan to do a bit of extra coaching stuff. It's his own free time, so it seems like the RFU can't really say, no, you can't do that. It's your own free time, but he goes to do a bit of extra coaching with them. And, you know, some of these players are players that might end up playing against England. So there's this argument in the press sometimes that seems to say, you know, he shouldn't be helping out the enemy and, you know, doing that kind of thing. He should just be focusing on the Six Nations and focusing on England. I can kind of see that argument as well, because their performance in the Six Nations wasn't fantastic. But I guess it's his own free time. And if you've ever seen that movie, The Miracle at Brighton Miracle, whichever way that works, which talked about, you know, his work with the Japanese team, the guy does seem to just be a workaholic. And if there's nothing going on, he just wants to do more coaching. I mean, he could be going to Premiership games or European Champions Cup games and whatnot, I suppose. But yeah, he's gone to Japan to do a bit of coaching. What do you guys reckon? Is that the right thing for him to be doing? Just his own thing in his personal life? I'm kind of the opinion, if he's in his personal time, then let him do what he wants to do. Apparently, he coached a wee bit of Bowden Barrett's game last year. So yeah, I'll be thankful for that as a New Zealand fan. But anyway, you guys let me know what you reckon. Thanks again to Alan for all those jerseys, and to Trevor for going out of your way to pick up that Leon jersey. That's massive from both of you guys. Thanks to all the patrons again for keeping us afloat. Drop it again, link in the description if you guys would mind checking it out. I would appreciate it. The other YouTube channel, I'll put a link down there in the description or something. Thanks for subbing, for liking, for commenting, for watching, all that jazz. You guys know, standard YouTube spiel. And do let me know what you think about O'Gara's slap, Smith's new role, and Eddie Jones. And as always, I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.